say hello to the bad guy. Yep, coming in at number 27 on my list of the top 40 most entertaining WWE superstars of all time is Razor Ramon. Notice that I don't say Scott Hall. Although Scott Hall was brilliant in or his persona as Scott Hall was brilliant in the NWO, I still think his most iconic iteration or persona was the bad guy, Razor Ramon. Now, I have to say, I think he is underrated or underestimated as what I believe is one of the most influential wrestlers of the modern era. I mean, he was the first guy who straight out kind of went in as a heel before Stone Cold Steve Austin, went in as a heel, did everything he could possibly do to get heel heat, and was just so damn cool that people just started cheering him. You know, he didn't change anything about what he did in the ring or cheating or anything like that. He stayed the same. You know, kicking people in the head when they're down, slapping them in the head, just you know, generally being very arrogant and self-conceited. And again, what a shame that this guy never got a WF championship reign. And of course, what a shame his current state, you know, and finding out all the history about, like, you know, what was going on behind the scenes with his drugs and alcohol addictions. It really is just, you know, of anyone, just a real shame, because, like, the guy was built like some Adonis, you know, like some kind of Greek god, and he really did look like a wrestler, a real man's wrestler, and yet he had the look. He was a fairly handsome fellow. You know, who knows where Razor Ramon and that character could have gone. I certainly think it would have translated very well into the Attitude Era. He could have got a bit more, you know, a bit more hardcore, and you know, I just think it would have totally worked. He's also, you know, one of the innovators of the ladder match. He was a good in-ring competitor. He had some great moves, suplexes off the top ropes, you know, some different styles of suplexes that we really hadn't seen, and he really was one of the innovators of the wrestling genre. He's personally one of my favorites. I put him so low down on the list because he didn't achieve what I think you need to achieve to be on the higher end of the list. But you just can't take away the charm and charisma that this guy oozed, and the fact that he had that charm and charisma alongside being a great in-ring storyteller, a great in-ring performer. I just think he was pretty much the total package in terms of a wrestler. And I also think, you know, you look down the line at people like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, and people of that kind of, you know, the greats that we love. I think we owe a great debt to the Razor Ramon character in the WWE. Of course, you know, he later went on to go into the NWO, and again was very entertaining, very charismatic as the Scott Hall character, but was obviously a bit overshadowed by Hulk Hogan. I really think he needed, you know, it would have been nice if he got a bit more of the spotlight in that group. I don't think he was a very smart in terms of business sense. I don't think he realized just what he had. If he did, I think he could have gone all the way. He really could have excelled in either WCW or WWF. One of the greatest mistakes I reckon the WWE ever made, and Stone Cold apparently was pissed off because The Rock got to face Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania. I can't remember which WrestleMania it was now. I think it might have been 20 or something. And The Rock was up against Hulk Hogan, and that was a massive match. And what Hulk Hogan did, which was so clever, is he went in as Hulk Hogan himself, the character that made him famous. So it truly was icon versus icon. Now, I heard Razor Ramon chants in the match that Stone Cold had against him, which Stone Cold was like, "Oh, I should have been working with Hulk Hogan." You're working with Razor Ramon. That's pretty. I think that's a pretty big deal. I think it's quite, like undermining to say, because in fact Razor Ramon was pretty much the prototype of what you became, or what Stone Cold Steve Austin became. So I think they could have worked that match a lot better. There were Razor Ramon chants, not as there wasn't as heavy, a split as in the Hulk Rock match, but there were some Razor Ramon chants. And if he hadn't come in full on as Razor Ramon rather than Scott Hall NWO, I think we would have seen a huge divide in the audience, because Razor Ramon was generally loved. When at his greatest time, he was like the Stone, well, not like the Stone Cold, he was the Razor Ramon of his era, but like the bad guy of his era, like who was cool and everybody liked. So anyway, that's my piece on Razor Ramon, and well, yeah, say goodbye to the bad guy.